What is up guys, Andy Forrest Team Runner here and welcome back to another video, and today I'm giving you guys another long-term review update on the ASICS NOVABLAST after 400 miles. So I'm delighted to deliver another long-term shoe update on the ASICS NOVABLAST after 400 miles. My shoe of the year 2021 is going strong, but how has it held up since a 300 mile update to now, and has it got much more life left in it? We're going to be answering all of those questions today, including the wear and tear, how I've been using it, and as I said, if I'll continue to use this thing moving forward. If you're excited for today, guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and we'll start with the wear and tear. So since the 300 mile update on this shoe, really there's been no extra wear and tear that's gone on this shoe. In terms of the upper, there is one thing that I'll show you, but in terms of the upper, as you can see, it's holding strong. This upper is about as strong as the ASICS rubber on the bottom of the shoe. The midsole is just absolutely fantastic, just holding up so strong, holding shape just is absolutely brilliant. And in terms of the grip on the bottom, it doesn't have an aggressive tread pattern or anything, but in terms of the grip, you can still see that most of the patterns on the ASICS rubber outsole are still there. There's a few bits that are wearing down, but really it's negligible. In terms of how it's holding up, it's just built like a tank. The one thing I have noticed, and the one thing that was massively different from the NOVABLAST version 1 to the version 2, was the heel counter area and the padding in and around this ankle collar. And what I've noticed in particular, and you can see here a little ridge that has appeared. So what's happened is, over the last 100 miles, all this padding that was up in this top heel counter area here, because this was really quite plush here, has kind of pushed down in and around here. I can feel a bit of a bulge, a little bit, about an inch down into the shoe. It doesn't cause any discomfort, it doesn't cause any issues. It's really not made a massive difference to the shoe at all. All it's done is it take away a little bit of cushion here. You can see that cushion used to push out, so this bit here would go all the way up in line, and there was no ridge there that cut in. So you can see how much cushioning has pushed down. But that's it. That literally is the only thing that has happened in those 100 miles. And as I said, it's made no detriment to the performance of the shoe, to the comfort or anything. It's just some cushioning that's moved. So I've got to be honest with you, after 400 miles, in terms of the wear and tear, this thing is just doing so well. So how have I been using this shoe over the past 100 miles? Obviously we did the 300 mile update. What's been changed, or what has happened since 300 to 400 miles? Not a lot really. It's been continued to use as the easy and moderate workhorse shoe that I have. Less moderate and more easy. I think I've done a long run in it as well, but more recently it's been my go-to treadmill shoe. For the simple reason, I'm injured at the moment. If you're following along with the training videos or the weekly vlogs or whatever I'm doing, whatever video ends up coming out, you'll know that I'm struggling a little bit with a calf injury at the moment. That happened at the end of a training block tail end of last year. So the final week I stupidly pushed through a niggle, which has now evolved into something a lot more. And so now I'm on the road to recovery and trying to get myself back fit again, slowly but surely. I've been using the treadmill a lot for some recent easy runs, and that's just because the impact is far less on the treadmill, and that, coupled with the fact that it's a calf injury, means that I wanted a shoe, A, that was cushioned, but B, had quite a high stack height. This has an 8mm stack height from heel to toe, meaning there's going to be a lot less load on the calf as I'm running. So if I'm running in a zero drop shoe, obviously there's going to be more load on the Achilles and calf, as opposed to something like an 8, 10 or 12mm drop shoe where there's a lot less. So that's the main reason why I'm using this a lot more. The other shoe I have in my rotation that I could use is the Endorphin Speed 2. That also is an 8mm drop, but that's a little bit more lightweight. It's got a plate in it. I'm trying to get my mechanics of my feet working while I don't want any plates or anything to take anything away. So this thing has been basically hogging the bulk of the recent mileage, meaning I was creeping up to 400 miles and now I have ramped well over it. And I think we're now at around 405 to 410 miles, and this has no signs of stopping. So that's how I've been using it. Again, just mainly an easy and moderate workhorse, and now with some treadmill runs. So how will I use this shoe moving forwards, and how much more life do I think it's got left in it? Well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I genuinely think, and this is obviously also taking into account my interpretation of how far I think I'm going to be able to take it, as well as some of the comments that you guys gave me over the previous NOVABLAST, because my NOVABLAST version 1, I wrapped things up around 415 miles, only because I just had so many other shoes in to test, not because it was anywhere near giving up the ghost. But I will continue to use this shoe. It is showing no signs of deterioration, and I genuinely believe this is a 600 to 800 mile shoe, if not 1,000-mile shoe. Now obviously that's going to depend on, it's something that really all of our shoe reviewers should say and should state. We are all going to wear down shoes at a different rate. It's going to be dependent on weight, height, cadence, foot strike. All of these factors combined will mean that we all wear down shoes at a different rate. But I genuinely believe that for all of us, whatever our weight, height, cadence and foot strike, I genuinely believe that this thing will last a long time for the majority of us. Now, for me, I'm anticipating 600 to 800 miles. I think some of you lighter runners out there might be able to get 1,000 miles out of it. But for me, right now, the cushioning has not deteriorated. The upper is holding strong, bar the bit of foam in the back there that has just gravitated down. And the AHA rubber on the bottom is just not showing really any signs of degradation. When I say AHA, just for clarification, ASICS High Abrasion Rubber, it's just the acronym they use. This stuff is absolutely unreal. I've made comments of it in the past, at the fact that if the planet exploded and we all just disintegrated, they would find this stuff in millions of years' time floating around the atmosphere, because it just will not disintegrate. It just does not wear down. It is such strong outsole rubber. So that, combined with the incredible midsole, this Flight Foam Blast, and the upper, is just proving to be such a durable option. We always hear a lot of people saying one of the massive positives about the Pegasus lineup from Nike, despite the fact that it's not the most fun ride, is it's a durable shoe. But I'm going to stick my neck out there and say this thing is just as durable, if not more durable. It's going to last you a very long time. So for me, I'm just going to continue to ramp up the miles in this thing. As it stands, as I'm coming back from injury, as I'm kind of stop-start running and trying to do some easy running on the treadmill, this thing is just going to get more and more use. It's the only shoe I'm going to gravitate to. The only other shoe I've got in my rotation that I would consider is the Endorphin Speed 2, because that is also an 8mm drop, so that will also give some relief to the calf. But at the same time, it has a nylon plate in it, and I want to really work on my gait cycle and using the full mechanics of my foot landing on the toes, getting them all through the proper gait cycle and pushing off on the big toe. Obviously, when you have a plate in your shoe, I know it's a nylon plate and it's a lot softer, but it still can take away some of those natural biomechanics. So I just want to keep working and getting back strong again. I don't want to take anything away and lead myself into a false sense of security with my injury. A plate might do that, who knows? So I'm going to continue to stick with this for now. So in terms of that question, I'm going to keep ramping this thing up. I think it's going to go to 600 to 800 miles, and I think some of you guys can get it to 1,000. So there we go, that's my update on the NOVABLAST version 2 after 400 miles. And the one thing that really pops into my head and makes me go, wow, this is an absolutely incredible shoe, is when I look back and compare it to the version 1. Obviously, a lot of us, I think I speak for a lot of us when I say I think the version 1 is a little bit more exciting. With that 10mm drop, it just makes the foam pop more. It makes you feel like there's more forward propulsion. You just feel like you're moving faster. And actually, when I had the version 1, I was a little bit more versatile with the shoe. I did even use it for some tempo runs and some workouts. So I think the version 1 encompassed a bit more of a wide range of runs, and I had a lot more testing time in that thing in terms of different paces and different styles of runs. The version 2 for me has been much more of a staple, easy and moderate run shoe, the odd long run, and that's about it. I've not really dabbled with it in those faster paces. But the one thing that jumps off the page to me is that with the version 1, I was mixing that in a lot more with other shoes and testing, and it took me about a year to get over 400 miles. Well, I've got to look back and say, hey, I bought this NOVABLAST version 2 in, was it the summer? Around June, July, August? I think it was actually July or August time I got this when it was released. and I'm now in January and I have the same amount of miles in this shoe as I did in version 1 in around about half the time, which for me shows the trust I have in the shoe and shows how much I enjoy it. I just gravitate towards that shoe. I might have other ones in my rotation, but I'm going for the NOVABLAST, and it just, for me, it speaks volumes. It's just such a great shoe. I know a lot of you guys love it. I know some of you just can't get on with it. That's obviously totally understandable and completely personal choice, but I have to say this thing for me has just been an absolute godsend when it comes to just loving easy miles, moderate miles, and especially now coming back from injury, enjoying using it on the treadmill as well. So let me know in the comments below how your NOVABLAST are doing, or if you've just taken a shoe up and around the 300, 400, 500 mile mark, is it still going strong? Which shoe do you feel has the longest shelf life in your rotation? Let me know and let's get that conversation going. If you enjoyed today though, guys, please make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then.